Hello everybody, Joshua back here again with another video, and I'm here to give you another Dragon Ball Super review. Yes, I'm here to give you my official review for Dragon Ball Super episode 29. Of course, if you haven't seen this episode, please go check it out because this review may contain spoilers. But that being said, let's get into this new episode of Dragon Ball Super. Now, first things first, this episode was pretty good. I personally really enjoyed and loved it. I mean, I don't know what kind of world I'm in now that Toei Animation has actually done some good and has given us some pretty good episodes. I mean, granted, it must have to do a lot with the fact that we finally reached Akira Toriyama's original story for the overall concept of this new series. But, the last several episodes have been pretty good. I mean, ever since the ending of the Frieza arc and the opening of this Universe 6 arc, it's been a pretty good set of episodes for Dragon Ball Super lately, and I'm just super happy about that and super stoked. I mean, granted, we can sit here all day debating and shitting all over the animation artwork. Of course, it's never gonna be amazing and up to par to all of our hopes and dreams. However, it's still been pretty good episodes as of late, and I'm just really dreading the day when they drop the ball, which you all know, and I do as well, that it will happen. It's inevitable that Toei Animation will fuck up, they'll have a gigantic foot in their mouth, and the entire Dragon Ball community will disband and break, and there will be a civil war, if you will. There will be haters, there'll be defenders, there'll be a bunch of idiots in between, and then there's going to be, Akira Toriyama crying in the corner, kind of like the Native American commercials when there's trash everywhere. It's going to be like that. And I'm going to be in the middle like Malcolm, and I'm just going to sit down like an asshole and just shit on everyone and just say I hate all of you. And that's pretty much what's going to happen. But as of now, the episodes have been awesome, so let's keep our fingers crossed that it continuously stays that way. But overall, in this episode, we continue the talk of the Universe 6. Of course, if you haven't been reading the manga, you pretty much are, don't really know where to go from here, but essentially that's also another really weird thing, that the anime has been pretty close to the mangas now. I mean, granted, they have taken their significant choices to do things and their own way of telling this story, but overall, in this specific saga, they haven't really done any filler, and they also have been they have been keeping up the pace pretty well. It's been a pretty high-paced kind of story arc, and on top of that, they have been pretty close to the actual story that Toriyama has laid out and that Toritoro has been drawing for the manga, which is pretty crazy. I mean, granted, we've seen this before, and but at the same time, when you watch Dragon Ball Super, you know you're up for a specific kind of episode. But this saga has been giving us an entirely different kind of thing. It's like, am I watching Kai all of a sudden? That's how I personally feel, at least. But overall, in this episode, once again, if you haven't read the manga, spoilers, but essentially, the Universe 6 tournament has been announced. Champa, of course, lays out the stakes. Beerus wins. He gets his Super Dragon Balls that he's been collecting over the decades. And of course, if Champa wins, he gets Earth's food, which I guess is whatever. And then, of course, Goku's super stoked about it because he's Goku, and he's always going to be happy when, there's new opponents and fighters and tournaments to be, up to grab. So that's pretty cool for him. But of course, they go back to Earth and they go their separate ways. Obviously, Vados and Champa go to that, open wasteland planet that they're using for said tournament. And we get our first look at the Dragon Balls, which look pretty amazing. I mean, granted, we've seen glimpses of them in the opening of said episode and of course last episode, but overall the way they've been visually looking, it's been pretty badass, and I like the look of the new set of Dragon Balls. It just, I don't know how they're going to be used. I don't know what kind of a dragon's going to come out of them, but I'm super stoked about them. But of course, Vados starts creating said tournaments for everyone who's going to be involved, and Champa pretty much just hangs around and eats and doesn't really do anything, which is kind of weird. I mean, Champa, for the newest edition of the Rogues Gallery, if you can call it that, for Dragon Ball characters or Goku, he's not really much of a villain. He's just he's just like a walking calamity. He just really doesn't care or do anything. All he does is eat and just watch Vados do work. That's pretty much all he does, which is kind of odd and funny, but I don't know. I just want to see Champa do something kind of menacing. I mean, we haven't really had a very good, interesting villain since Beerus. And Beerus, at the end of the day, isn't really a villain in the, realist, in the Dragon Ball sense, if you will. So I'm just kind of waiting there where it's like, when are we going to get like a very good classical kind of villain? That's all I'm kind of waiting for, because Champa, he doesn't really seem menacing. He just seems like he's doing his own thing, and Beerus is obviously Beerus, but other than that, we don't really have like a good villain for Dragon Ball Super yet. So hopefully, like, when we're done with this tournament arc and we get into like a new saga, whatever that could be, it'll be kind of interesting if we get like a more classical villain for Dragon Ball characters. But anyways, with that being said, back on Earth, of course, Goku, Vegeta, we go and grab the help of Bulma to create a new Dragon Radar, of course, because the old one cannot contact or connect with these new sets of Dragon Balls. So of course she has to create a new one, and completely hilarity ensues since then. I mean, like, they have to create new Dragon Radar, they have to get a new set of Dragon Balls to get the history from Shenron of the origins of these new Dragon Balls and everything else, and of course nothing really works. No one knows anything. Once again, very similar to the manga, and of course this episode, I guess the best way I can put it is that it's just a setup for future episodes. There's not really anything amazing that happens, there's no real action, it's just exhibition and just, hey, there's a tournament happening. We gotta train. Bulma, you need to contact that alien dude so we can, like, figure out where these Dragon Balls are all about. Beerus is pissed off because he's Beerus. And Champa just eats food. And Vados just created an entire tournament for all of us to hang out at and fight. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the sum of this episode. But with that being said, it's actually pretty entertaining, regardless of my simplistic rendering of the actual episode. It's a freaking good episode. I mean, Bulma's hilarious. I mean, there's a lot of Bulma in this episode, which is great. I personally like when Dragon Ball takes the point of view towards more of the female-based characters of this show, considering they don't really get to do anything in this show, so it's pretty nice to always have that. And Bulma, seeing as how she is the classical female Dragon Ball character, it just feels more appropriate to have her do stuff, especially considering in this specific point in the manga storyline, in the Universe 6 storyline, she does have a lot to do. She obviously has to create the new Dragon Radar. She obviously has to team up with Jaco to go find Zuno to find out the origins of said Dragon Balls, So it's going to be very interesting to see Bulma and Jaco stuff. And Jaco, god damn, he is one hilarious dude. And of course, on top of that, we got the introduction to a new Dragon Ball character. We got to see Tights for the first time in a Dragon Ball anime, which was really phenomenal, because when I first saw this episode, I was thinking, are they really going to do it? Are they going to show Tights, or are they going to retcon it? Kind of similar to how Dragon Ball Super retconned Vegeta's brother Tarble, because in the movies they referenced Tarble, so it kind of made him canon, and then he's not canon in Dragon Ball Super. So I was feeling like, are they going to do the same thing with Tights? Like, are they going to retcon it? Which they can't really, because if they retcon it, then how does Jaco make sense? So how are they going to play out the Tights stuff? Because it's going to be kind of odd that Bulma, in the span of this entire series, had a sister this whole time that no one really knew. Not even Goku. But then again, Goku's an idiot, so he probably doesn't even give a shit at the... He's like, huh? Sister? Is there any food? That's pretty much Goku in a nutshell, so he probably doesn't care at the end of the day. But not even Vegeta, even he kind of seemed surprised. I mean, like, they had a kid together, they lived together. How do you not know? I don't know. It's just very odd. So I thought it was just going to be just a very interesting way and setup, but they did a pretty decent job. I mean, Tights comes on, she's on screen, she talks to Bulma, she looks pretty much like Bulma, except she has, like, Mickey Mouse eyes for some reason. I don't know, who cares? If you've seen the manga, you know what I'm talking about, but, at the end of the day, I feel like it was pretty cool, especially considering that we're probably not going to see Tights again anytime soon. I mean, that's pretty classical for Dragon Ball female characters. They're kind of one-and-done characters, which sucks, but, hell, As long as they keep introducing new interesting characters into the Dragon Ball lore, I'm okay with it. And if they do it in a good, respectful way, I'm okay with it. So, and I feel like they did that with Tights. I mean, they pretty much did what the manga did, and I was okay with it in the manga, so I'm alright with it in the anime. So with that being said, Tights, she's a new addition to the Dragon Ball universe, specifically the anime universe, and I'm okay with it. Now she's canon. But with that being said and done, of course, there's a whole bunch of other hilarious things that happens. Vegeta is like Beerus's lapdog, which is weird. Bulma and Vegeta have a lot of very interesting moments, which was kind of cool. Goku is hilarious because he's just so happy and stoked to fight again. Beerus is super pissed off, which is also hilarious. And of course, once again, this episode is just a setup for future episodes. You know, they have to find these new characters. They have to find the history of the Dragon Balls. They have to go here. They have to go there. They have to make sure that they're prepared for this tournament. Because if they fuck up, Beerus is going to be really pissed off. And then they have to find teammates. They have to set up how this tournament's going to go down. So there's just a lot of very setups. There's no real action. There's no fighting involved at all. So it was a pretty simplistic episode, and I'm okay with it. I actually really enjoy the fact that they just took a seat back, just relax, and just give us a simple, entertaining, fun episode, and I like that. So at the end of the day, if I had to give my final verdict right now, I have to give it a solid 8 out of 10. It was a good, fun, entertaining episode that I really enjoyed. Bulma was hilarious, Vegeta was hilarious, Beerus and Whis were hilarious, Goku is always Goku, which is fun. I love the introduction of Tights. I like the idea of all these various characters being involved. Jocko's little moments was Jocko's always a pleasure to watch. And of course, Champa and Vados are Champa and Vados. I mean, they're just around. So, but with that being said and done, let me know what you personally think in the comment section below. And also, seeing as how I didn't really call out any negatives, there wasn't really anything negative that I can really per se talk about, because the only things I really can say as negatives are more or less nitpicky stuff. And if I had to say that, the only things that really bothered me in this episode, which was how close, I guess how fast paced the anime has been so far. I mean, like, it's a good thing, don't get me wrong, but I just find it weird how the anime is just getting so close to the manga now. It's almost like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? Is like the world gonna end if they pass each other? It's just, I'm just, worried about that. And on top of that, the only other thing about this episode specifically that bothered me was, I guess when Bulma slapped Beerus. I mean, tell me who fucking got that. I didn't really understand the gist of that. I mean, I'm just saying, Beerus is the strongest character in the entire Dragon Ball mythos. He's stronger than Goku and Vegeta combined. I mean, granted, I know there's those people who are like, they need Vegito. Vegeta needs Super Saiyan Blue. Vegito needs to stop Beerus. He could do it. It's like, I don't fucking know if he could, and I'm pretty much sure Beerus can just wipe him out in oblivion. Who fucking cares? But at the end of the day, Beerus could do that. He can wipe us all out to oblivion. However, Bulma, being the crazy chick she is, just straight up slaps his ass in classic Dragon Ball humor, which is fun and entertaining for children and myself because I'm a man-child, but, I mean, like, how does that make sense? I mean, like, he's still Beerus at the end of the day. He could still kill us all. I mean, like, how does she get away with that? I do not know. I mean, oh my god, it's just a weird place where we are as Dragon Ball fans to see that these characters have become such good friends with universally destroying characters, and they could just hang out with them like they're hanging out with, the talking pig and the talking cat and whatever the fuck Chaozu is, it's kind of weird how they could just do that nowadays. It's just very odd, and how Beerus reacts to it is even weirder. It's like, he doesn't really get overly mad with Bulma. Yeah, he yells, but he's not like gonna kill her, kind of like he did in Battle of God Saga. All he does is like, Vegeta, go, get the Dragon Balls, you asshole, go! Like, he just yells at Vegeta, and that's also another weird thing that I find on. It's like, when did Vegeta become, like, Beerus's bitch? Like, that's all Vegeta is. Like, all he does is, like, he just does, like, there's even a point where, like, Beerus is like, Vegeta, go! And then, like, Vegeta goes, and, like, Goku just looks at Vegeta real quick, like, what? Like, what are you doing? Why are you little bitch? Like, that's what Vegeta's become. He's become Beerus's bitch. I don't know why. It's hilarious. It's fun and entertaining, but it just doesn't make that much sense to me. But yeah, that's pretty much the only things that I found odd that I didn't really like. But overall, the episode was awesome, so there's not really anything else to bitch about. And also, once again, we can sit here all day and bitch about the animation artwork, which was subpar in this episode. There were points where this episode was great. It was okay to watch all the way through. But then there were certain points where it was like, yeah, this is starting to get a little sketchy. But at the end of the day, I think it was okay. It wasn't anything to bitch about. But it was something that was kind of like iffy in this episode. So hopefully they can keep up this consistency. But at the end of the day, this episode is a solid 8 out of 10. I loved it. Let me know what you personally think in the comment section below. What did you personally think about the Goku Vegeta Bulma moments? What are your personal thoughts on Beerus and Whis and the tournament and Champa and Vados and all these new characters that have to be introduced? Let me know in the comment section below. And also let me know what your personal thoughts and anticipation for next week's episode. I mean, like, I'm just saying, like, when I saw Gohan, spoilers, when I saw Gohan training with Piccolo, a little part of me was proud and happy. I don't know why. Maybe it's because Gohan sucks now as a character, but I know out there in the world, there were some people who messed up their pants because of how awesome it was fucking to see Gohan and Piccolo train again. Shit is going down in this fucking saga, folks, and I'm happy. But with that being said and done, also in the manga, the tournament has commenced. Fighting has commenced. Shit is going down. So let me know what you personally think about that as well in the comment section below. But with that being said and done, this has been my review. Hope you guys enjoyed. Shameless plug time. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Josh12. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And I hope you guys enjoyed. And this has been Josh12.